we couldn't make an agreement with the drug dealers. So we were able to have an agreement with drug dealers from a different area. Three of the boys were killed, and some of them had really a difficult life. I still have contact with some of them. J'habitais à Paris pour une année. Je suis en train de parler en anglais parce que mon français, il manque des mots. Mais quand je parle beaucoup, après une semaine, mon français va revenir.
Do you know a lot of French rappers wrote about Cité de God in their lyrics?
Really?
Like they do with Scarface.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, there's a...
Yeah,
Like,
I'm so amazed how big it got. I mean, out of control, and I don't understand why. We're 22 years in, and we're releasing the film, re-releasing the film. It's talking about the film. It's we never know why. How do we get the nerve? How we touch the nerve?
Did you have like movies or filmmakers in mind when you started preparing this movie? Because it's been called in France like the Godfellows of favelas. Yeah.
Goodfellas was one of the references because it talks. There's a guy narrating the story of the gangs. It was a good reference for us when we were writing the story. Definitely, yeah.
And had you seen La Haine, the French movie? Or?
Yeah, no, I like it very much. And I worked I liked La Haine a lot. So when I shot The Constant Gardener, I worked with the actor. Yeah, hubert, yeah. So I brought him to The Constant Gardener because of La Haine, because it was also a reference for me. And I also shot a little short that is terrible, the worst thing I did in my life, with Vincent Cassel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nobody ever saw it?
Oh, I hope not. I mean, it's available, but I won't tell where.
Okay. You didn't actually shoot in the City of God, in those favelas, because it was too dangerous?
No, I couldn't shoot in City of God because City of God, when I shot 20 years ago, City of God had already like 20 years, was very different from the beginning. So we shot in a place that would look like City of God 20 years in the 70s. Okay. So that was one reason. And then the second part of the film with the buildings and that could be shot in City of God, but it was very violent. We couldn't make an agreement with the drug dealers. So we were able to have an agreement with drug dealers from a different area, and they called Cidade Nova, Cité Nouvelle. We made a short film that we shot in City of God, and it was only 2 days of shooting, and it was a nightmare, you know. So that's when we decided we couldn't shoot there.
And how did those people react when the movie came out, when they saw it? Yeah.
Everybody in the communities in the favela loved the film because their world was never, or very rarely, showed in cinema or Brazilian TV. You know, we knew about favelas from newspaper, only crime and only this kind of news, but always from outside, the camera outside, talking about what is in the other side of the wall. And City of God was a film, I mean, we were looking from inside. And so this was a surprise, not only for Brazilian society, but also for communities, for people who would live in these communities. The story has been written by Paulo Lins, the writer. He was raised in City of God. So he said he was writing the book and he would see his characters walking by his window. He would go down there and talk to them, get some story, bring. Was really from the guts.
Most of the actors were amateurs, were people you found in the favelas? Or?
Yeah, besides the white characters that we see in the end of the film, all the others are all the boys, all the others are boys from different favelas in Rio. And so they knew how to talk, how to walk, how to behave, and they never read the script. You know, we would rehearse the scenes. I would tell them what we would need to improvise. Well, in this scene, this guy's a drug dealer. He comes here. You like this gun. You like this one. You have this discussion. I would explain, and they would improvise and create a scene and say, "Well, that's good, but don't say this, and rehearsing, we start shaping scene by scene. And in the middle of the rehearsal, I would say, well, why, instead of saying this, why don't you say this line? And you could reply this line, and they would try it, and it would work. But they never got the script, you know. Okay. So if you read the first script and watch the film, 40% of what they say is written in the script, and 60% is really improvised. Maybe that's why it feels so authentic, right?
Do you know what those kids have become today, 20 years later? Yeah.
Some of them became known actors. We released a TV series for City of God, yeah. So some of the actors that were in the film, the ones that weren't killed in the feature are back.
They're back,
yeah, in the TV series. Some had really tragic. We have like three of the boys who were killed. Some of them had really a difficult life. I still have contact with some of them, and I try to help and like renting apartment and this kind of thing. Okay. So I'm still linked to the film, but I haven't watched it since after 22 years. It's gonna be exciting. To see it.
So this TV show that came out, it was not your idea at first to do this kind of...
No, it wasn't my idea. It was my partner's idea. Okay. And actually there was a French company that wanted to buy the rights of City of God for TV. And then I said, well, let them buy. And my partner said, no, Fernando, it's ridiculous. The French people come here and shoot the story. This is our story. And so she bought the right, and she decided to make the series. I didn't want to. But in the end, it was a good idea, because the series has been very successful, and it's an opportunity to tell what happened next and what's happening today. So we're shooting the second season now, and planning already the third one.
Film actif.